So, when was the last time you were in Maryland?
Dang, year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Yeah, it's weird.
For anything
Super
special?
weird. Was that my birthday one? I came back for my birthday.
Which time? The when we met y'all in the bar, or
yeah. I think that was the last time. That was 2 years ago.
Wow.
Can you believe? Well, a year and a half. But yeah, crazy. Yeah, that's actually. I don't want to like jump ahead, but I referenced that like when I was like went back home, and in one of our records I said went back home. It's like the streets. It's like everything has changed because it's so different in Baltimore. Like I've been out here for a long time, so things change fast.
Yeah, 100%. And then after the past year, of course, everything's
weird.
Been wilder, of course. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. Do you have any plans on coming home anytime soon?
Yeah, I want to get back before the end of the year. I got a lot of travel plans. I'm sure everybody has all these plans that they're like can't wait to get out the house. I got the vaccine, so like I'm ready. Like let's go.
Which one you get?
I got that Johnson. I was in
Oh my! I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. What?
Well, my wife calls it the one-shot Johnson.
Oh my!
Wow.
Yeah, because you know one shot, boom, you're done. Wow. Johnson and Johnson.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, I got my second hit of Moderna last Monday, so I'm either waiting for the mutation or I'm about to freely move about the country like Southwest. One of the two. But yeah, I'm ready to move and shake. Are you brother John? Are you getting in line for the vaccine? Are you?
I'm good. I'm vaccinated. I've been vaccinated for about almost a month now. I got the Moderna as well, so I'm ready to hit the road again.
You're a gigger, so yeah, we can get into that, man. This should be an interesting show. I'll just say before we start, shout out to E-Major and his one-shot Johnson.
Welcome to the Where's Buffy podcast, where we're built for comfort and not for speed. Hashtag shooting the five.
Yeah, it's the Where's Buffy podcast where we're built for comfort.
God damn, and not speed. I wasn't even saying. I just what?
Oh, late.
Yo, I didn't even get the lights on. Nothing.
Yeah, well, go ahead and get yourself together. I got you.
Okay, hold on.
Either way, man, I am IlFab79 on your social media choice, aka Non-Edison Podcast, and aka Captain Bro Albano, Brew Diamond Phillips, Vicky the Dragon Steamboat, Pod Champ Pod, God's favorite podcast, the Potty Piper. I'm here to podcast, Chew Bubblegum, and I'm all out of Dentine Nice, aka Cactus Jack, the Hennessy Volunteer. And I've got a couple of faces that one you haven't seen before on this podcast. Last time he was on, we didn't have visuals. And another gentleman we've never had on the podcast, E-Major, Jon Laine. What's good?
What up?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
So E, I'm not gonna put any kind of pressure on you to give you know what I mean, any kind of AKAs or whatever. But what? First of all, how can folks get at you? Where do they know you from? Have they've heard our voices together somewhere? From what I understand, let niggas know who you are, who you know what I mean, what you do.
Yeah, so E to the Major on all the platforms, spelled out E to the Major. Been rapping for a long ass time. I also produced, but this was really great. This project, working with one producer, it was awesome. Working with John, we got the new project out, Fun Times in Baltimore, everywhere you can stream it. But yeah, I'm heavy on Instagram more than the other platforms, so hit me up on there.
Brother John?
I am at Jon Laine, JonLaine, drummer, music producer, teacher, father, husband, brother-in-law, son-in-law, son, all that. Been mainly just staying in the house and not really on social media very much, to be honest with you. So my wife and I just had our second child a couple of months ago. So I've just been a stay-at-home dad. But you can find me on social media, same name, Twitter, Instagram, mostly on Twitter than Instagram.
Look at that. That's cool. Little Facebook thing pops up at the bottom. That's nice.
Yeah.
And my tag team partner.
1854 Math at Math Damon. Shout out to the Warriors.
This is like the Brady Bunch
Do I
right
get
now.
to say hat size equator? Or
No, wait up. This
You
is
just said it.
This is a Scully, bitch.
Yo, I already know Brother E-Major is going to egregiously call niggas by their first names tonight.
You better not. I can still fight, son.
Yo, I don't mess with you. You got too much time in the gym. I'm not messing with you.
Son, that is like this. That's the scouting report on Cuz though. Cuz was like, yo, nah, I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with your cousin. This nigga run 100 miles every day and
Right,
he don't eat nothing but paper. So yeah, that's the scouting report.
I'm
over here drinking in the middle of the day.
Drama, man. What's that? It's still early where you are.
I know, but you know, I'm talking to you guys. I'm getting a drink.
It's apropos.
It is. Yes.
I'm dry this month, so you know what I
It's
mean.
amazing. This is new. This is Bud Light Clear. Some new stuff.
John, you got something too?
Yeah, I got bourbon and like this apple cherry almond simple syrup.
Where are you? Where are you located?
I'm not,
He's like, where do you get that shit at?
I'm in Maryland right now. This is my own concoction.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you with a drink. Plus, you got some new additions. I'm amazed that that's the only cup you got. But it's
100%. But you heard the bass though. The bass was very serious. He had a cup that it looked like he may or may not have made himself. However, his bass was bourbon. You knew he wasn't playing. Oh,
I'm a Scotch guy. Originally, I'm a Scotch guy, but it has to be bourbon for now. So,
very, very heavy, grown man stuff. I'm a beer guy today because I'm in for marathon drinking. I got to make it to the end of WrestleMania.
Right.
Pardon me. I'm sorry.
Did you say something?
No, but I wasn't paying attention either. I'm sorry. I was somewhere else. I was somewhere else for a second. What's good?
That's fine. Now we were sitting here talking about drinking and it being a marathon today and not a sprint.
No, it's always a sprint.
Nah, I'm not sprinting, champ.
So y'all came here for business. This y'all can, when I say business, I know we have a project to discuss. I'm talking about businesses in where's Buffy business, which is getting to the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, well, pull me out real quick. Pause.
Outstanding. This nigga here. All right, man. So shout out to Creek, man. 100%. Definitely not a sprint today. We gotta make it to the end of the night, man. I guess let's start with the project. If we had to open the Wikipedia page on the project, how would you? What would it say? What would it read?
I don't know. What do you got, John?
This is it was a project that E likes to say was 3 years in the making, but I say it was longer, only because we've been wanting to work together for a long time on a singular project. He laced an album of mine back in 2011, but even before that, he and I have met on the stage. He came and performed at the DC Loves Dilla event that I was music director and founder of. And I always just enjoyed, his musicality. So if I had to put this project on Wikipedia, I would say this is just a prerequisite of what's to come between he and I.
Hey. Yeah, John actually put me on like one of my favorite memories of doing music, which was that XM radio when we did that. That was fantastic. It was a Dilla event, but that year they did it like inside Sirius XM, and like Dilla's mom was there, Pete Rock was there. I was in the green room with Talib Kweli. Yeah, Kweli was like chopping it up with Kev, and I was like, man, this is amazing. It was just awesome. And that's like, yeah, and so like for no reason, John saw me perform at the Baltimore Dilla thing, and then was like, "You want to come do the DC one?" We had no affiliation at that point, so I was like so appreciative of that. And the DC ones, I mean, the Baltimore was always so fun, but the DC ones always attracted, like, I mean, I'm sure it's because of you, John, attracted big names, and like you're so fun, and like I love rocking with a band. It was always so fun to do, and like John said, I'm just happy we finally got to put this together. Look, Earl started doing shit because he thought I was gonna ramble on for a half an hour.
Nah, I'm trying to clear my space, get my feng shui right, because everything I've done in this station the last couple of days has been it started right, but it ended in violence because I've been doing some elbow bending. I'll see the project, and I don't know if it was before we got on or what, but we talked about you guys having a very similar, I guess, style, like in-game style-wise. Like you guys meet at the same place as far as what you guys like in the sound that you guys are into. This is the first new project since Bubba Hotep, or no? Am I wrong?
Yeah, the last one I did was actually just more of like a collection of songs that weren't anywhere else that I called Shoebop. And then that wasn't new stuff though, cuz. It wasn't nothing new on it. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that was like stuff that people couldn't get anywhere else. So I put that was like last year. But then yeah, you're correct. Like prior to that was Bubba Hotep, yeah. Which I came on the show for. Oh, hold up.
Pardon me, Bubba.
I got to pull up.
Time to pull up. You came here. You said you came for business. This is we all about
you
business.
Said that. Don't put words in my mouth.
You agreed when I asked you. You said yeah.
Hey, cuz. So before you got on, just letting you know, we are all strong with the vax. We all vaxxed up, right?
Oh, yep. We all vaxxed.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Brother John got the Moderna like myself, and apparently
he loves it.
OE over here got the one-shot Johnson, as he called it.
So you took the Johnson.
Oh.
Took a little prick. Yeah.
You took it where? In the back.
Oh man.
Yo, you gotta relax. This is what they do in Cali.
It's getting worse the more that we talk about it.
I know. I knew I should. I knew this was the wrong venue to make that joke.
It is.
No, it's a perfect place. It's a perfect place to make that joke. He got a little prick that he called the one-shot Johnson.
Yo, so real talk. The transition in your music, it's moving into a space. Is it from age that your taste is changing and it's getting more refined, or what? Because it doesn't sound like what I remember Bubba Hotep sounding like.
But that was just 2 years ago, or whatever it was. But no, I think it's just John bringing his musicality to it, because like I've always liked more, I've always come from, the native tongues and, the Mos Defs and the Roots and all that, like that's the sound I've always loved. So I like complex soulful production. And I think Jon just like naturally does it. So like, honestly, there wasn't much I was doing as far as like pushing and saying like, do this, do that. I just like would lay down vocals and give them to Jon, and like he like truly crafted the song around the vocals, which was just amazing.
So my question, I hope you'll finish. I didn't mean to cut you off, E. But Jon, your last project, for those that's not familiar, I'm not as familiar, because this is my brother here, so I know the majority of the shit that he's doing. But what was the last project that you were working on?
It was a solo beat tape that was named after me. It's called Laine, Laine. And I named it after myself because it's the 10th beat tape that I put out since about 2001. And so I wanted it to be a very special, I wanted to be special in a way for myself. And that came out in September of 2019. And it's like 39 instrumentals. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music. But, you know, E will tell you my biggest influence musically. There's a lot of people that have influenced me, but no one's influenced me more than J Dilla. And so I like to show my inspiration and my influence by not. I mean, I guess a lot of people would say that I'm flossing or copping, but it was just my way of giving back ever since he passed away. Of just showing my my respect towards him. And so I've just been putting out beat tapes for like the last 20 years, essentially. And each one has had some sort of honorary distinction to J Dilla. So that was the last one I put out. And, you know, 2020 was what it was. And it affected a lot of us, including myself. So I felt like 2020 was a time for me to just sort of sit back and just reflect on everything that's going on so that I can really put in the time to put out my next project, which was Fun Times in Baltimore.
So how did you guys connect?
Well, before I get into that, can I just say, like,
no.
To Jon's point, like, I think there's a lot of people that they get it because Dilla just brought just such a unique sound to the culture that there are those that co-opt his sound.
Facts.
But then there are true artists like Jon that are influenced by, but they can't help but inject their own personality into the music. And I think that that's what every artist does, whether you're looking at like filmmakers or beat makers or rappers. Like, you know, when you hear, like, when I first heard that like Eminem was inspired by Tretch from Naughty by Nature, I'm like, oh, of course he was.
Yeah.
But I never thought of it because he brought his own thing to it.
Right.
And that's what I think Jon does. I don't like when you hear Fun Times, I don't think you hear a J Dilla album. Like, I don't think you hear anybody trying to do J Dilla. But I think the essence of me and him both, like, coming from that aesthetic is there without it sounding like a cop.
Right.
Yo, so like being like that in that space, that's kind of the music you've made, you know, throughout is it leans that way.
It leans that way.
Backpacky without being an insult, because my backpack
that's
is
an
full.
Insult.
It's not for me. It definitely not.
You said he wear big Timberlands and chew tie sticks.
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think.
Oh, I mean, I'm just reverting back to the photos I see to this nigga.
Outstanding. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Early E. But like, it's kind of I guess it's always easy to kind of go back to your comfort zone, almost like soul food. Like you always want to, like, you know, you try different stuff, but at the end of the day, you'll come back and get that same sustenance. Now you hear that in the project, but also heard some stuff, E, that you were doing different. You did some stuff with some different like vocal filters and and kind of punching up your audio. You sounded a bit different here while sounding the same. Was that the intent?
No, but I think there was, John, correct me if I'm wrong, there was probably a couple times where I said, oh, try to do this, like pitch down the vocal or whatever on this line.
Yep.
But but a lot of that is John, like, and that's what I think is really fulfilling about working with like one producer, is that they bring their personality to it and their ideas, and they can take your strengths and play to them and like make it happen. Oh, come on, bro.
I'm there.
Hey, listen, you keep messing with Fam, you're gonna have you twisted by the end of the episode.
I got a whole day ahead of me. I'm on the West Coast.
Oh, that's right. You're on the West Coast.
No, you came in here with a whole Moscow mule.
Hey, yo, see?
On some bullshit. Don't do that. Not here. Don't do that here.
So
when did you get fronts?
I've had them forever.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you wear those.
You haven't paid attention.
Oh,
You don't look at me no more.
Hey, y'all niggas want to be alone with me. I don't know what's going on.
You don't look at me like you used to.
I hate it.
I hate it here. I completely hate it here. That being said, in 2020, 2021, it's a really interesting era to drop music in that music is so currently disposable. The people listen and hold on and attach to music for a week or so, and then they wait for midnight on Friday to either crown the next classic or call an album trash. Is that intimidating in any way to someone like releasing music that isn't quite you're not following any trends with the music? So does that like, I guess, push the way you value the music any more or less?
Not for me. I learned early on that you put music out to satisfy yourself and not necessarily satisfy everybody. And the people who will follow you and the people who will listen to your music will just follow you and listen to your music. Not a lot of people listened to my last album, but it was an album that was severely thought of, and it might seem weird to the common consumer, but that's not why I make music. I don't make music for the common consumer, just like Andre 3000 doesn't rap for the common rap listener. You know what I mean? So as long as I'm happy with it, and there are people, even if it's one or two people that like it, that's just me though. If you want to follow suit and you want a majority of the consumers to like it, you kind of have to follow a path, or you have to follow a plan, or you got to follow a strategy. And that becomes really strenuous. You can stress yourself out that way. You can build up an amazing amount of anxiety that way, especially if you don't have label support and you're doing it on your own. So I don't necessarily do it to get, a certain rapport from certain people, because I know that there's going to be people out there that will enjoy it. So I make it for them. And then I kind of depend on those people who enjoy it to pass it on to their friends, to say, yo, you feel what I'm listening to, so why don't you listen to this? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, but that's me though.
Yeah, that's you. Because I mean, that's a level-headed producer answer. Like, as a rapper, like, we are attention whores, right? Like, you don't think? You don't think people get into rapping because they have something, they need to communicate with people, they need to have a feedback loop of some kind? Like, I can't help it. I have anxiety about it, like, because I care. Like, all my whole career, it's not that I ever wanted to play to a sound or anything. I'm always going to do what I love, but I think it's important for me for people to hear it. And I do get anxiety and I do stress about that a little bit. And that's why I'm been on social media every day this week.
Yo, I'm coming through. Coming through where? See, I'm just speaking from myself. I know who I was speaking to, and once, I guess, I don't know if that's attention, but once they say, "Yo, it's dope," just like he said, like, "Yo, this is dope," I'm gonna listen to this, and as long as this amount, this circle, these people here say that that's dope, I'm with them. I'm not worried about the rest of the people. So I don't.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I know that my tribe is out there, and I want to find them. You know what I mean? Like I see that certain artists do have, certain artists do have a following that makes similar music to me, and I'm like, well, I just want to grab those people because they clearly like what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a question on the screen. Says that's cool. Do you feel like it's a waste of money? Shout out to Cuz.
What? Like what? John's answer or my answer?
I'm assuming John's, because she's saying you're spending the resources, you know what I mean, and the time to make this project, not seeing returns on it. I guess not seeing enough return of compensation on it may seem like a waste of money to folks.
It's a waste of money if you have an expectancy of what you want that project to do. Like if I wanted my last project to have 5,000 streams in the first month and it only did 200, then I might seem like it is a waste of money. But I went into it thinking there are only going to be a select few Dilla heads or Pete Rock heads who are going to listen to this album and really appreciate it or put it on rotation. I'm not going to get a tremendous amount of females listening to this album. So there's going to be a certain demographic. So I think if you go into it thinking and you have this expectancy and it doesn't turn out that way, then maybe it is a waste of money for you. But for me, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah, I never see it as a waste of money. I mean, you know, and I've had projects that get some legs to them, but yeah, I think for me, it's like, I know when I got joints, like I got jams that people, if they heard them, you know, they would go. I know there's a couple tracks on this project that I'm like, if they get the right push, they'll go. So why not? Like I've always, you know, 'cause I come from that backpack rapping ass rapper world too, right? So there's always that push and pull of like do I give a shit or not? But like I think as a rapper, I do want people to hear what I have to say.
Cool. So now the gigging economy, right? Took a huge hit with COVID and lockdowns and whatnot. We talked about all being vaxxed. John, you gig, right?
I will be again now. This year I will be. I wasn't gigging. I was rarely gigging last year.
What was that transition like? What was I guess what was the beginning of it when niggas found out just like things is about to be shut down, and then how was that? You know, what was the withdrawal? Like everybody loves that instant feedback of the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And how was it kind of adjusting to all of that?
Yeah, it was not easy. I'll be honest with you. It was a situation where I was out and about doing about 200 dates a year.
Wow.
And I went from doing 200 dates to doing maybe 24 dates.
Wow.
So obviously the conversation with the wife had to happen about, you know, bringing in my share of the income and that not happening and trying to find other ends, which was really rough because of the whole teaching situation as well. So luckily my wife was able to work from home. So she was able to keep her income without having to go into the office. So we were able to keep the money flowing in. And then we decided to move out of our townhouse and move in with her parents to save money because we're saving up to buy a house. So it all ended up working out in the end. But for me, mentally, it was extremely difficult because I'm a full-time musician. This is almost everything that I know. I mean, I can do other things. Like I can bag groceries. I could probably be a barista and make a chai latte or some shit like that. But ultimately, I want to do what makes me happy. And I had to find other means. So with the absence of touring, I had to build a studio in my in-laws' basement. And I had to start recording drums, and I had to continue to make music. But again, finding the motivation to do that was very, very difficult, just because my motivation comes from going out and seeing other bands and just traveling the world and playing all the time. And when that happened, I tried to keep a level head. I tried not to freak out. I tried not to, let my family see me down. And I just tried to focus my attention on being a dad. So that's what I did. I just focused my attention, and I said, I'm just going to be a dad for a year until I'm ready to start traveling again. And luckily, there have been some other gigs that popped up. I play full time with MC and producer Odyssey. So he had about six hits last year that we were able to do despite everything going on. I also play with a wedding band. Even though a majority of those got canceled, we had about half a dozen last year as well. But the toughest part was dealing with it mentally and knowing how to keep your motivation. I usually go down to the basement when everybody's asleep, and I'm in the basement from like 10 p.m. until 4 a.m. just working on music or listening to music. And that got done real quick. That got done with the quickness. I had no motivation to do it. And I was going to bed at like 10 p.m., waking up at 7, having no motivation. But again, it's just all about having to find your happiness. And it was slow coming, but it finally came back. And now that the gigs are starting to pick back up, it's almost like you're rejuvenated again and you're reincarnated again. So that's how I've been able to deal with it.
So do you feel like how do you guys feel in general? And this is for everybody. How do you feel like quarantine music was like the year that we got, this last year of music we got? Did you guys have expectations on what music was going to be once we got in the house? And then did music either live up to, match, or exceed what you expected?
I really enjoyed it. Like, so I've been working from home myself. Hold on.
I left my drink up on the counter over there, but
sure. I mean,
John's
like,
gonna throw up. I'm sorry.
Like some of the stuff was really great. Like seeing some of my buddies that like I've realized I know a million DJs now. Like I've always known that, but like I really realized that when everybody's live constantly.
New DJs or DJs?
DJs.
I'm old, man. DJs.
I know you're old, but I just want to know. Okay, cool.
And so watching them from the comfort of your own home is kind of fun sometimes. I liked some of the
Shout out Impulse.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I like that Raekwon Ghostface verse was so fun to watch. Stuff like that. Like we just never got that stuff before. I was definitely consuming a lot of music, like working away at my computer listening. I just listened to a lot of stuff over the years. So it's been great, man. I actually really enjoyed it. But and making music has been fun too, because I'm not commuting now. I got 2 hours a day back in my life where like that just becomes creative time. So
have you been listening to hip hop?
Yeah.
Either one of you?
I have, yeah.
What?
So I've gone back. I actually did a lot of like listening to older stuff. I finally watched that Hulu Wu-Tang series.
Shout out to Diz.
Which was like, yeah, it was all right. But then at the same time I was watching there was like a documentary I was just like in Wu world for a while. Like I was, and then so all I did was listen to Wu-Tang. It was great.
Big Tim's.
Yeah. Big. No, but you know, I listen to a range of things, like the newer stuff. I know you guys like check for that all that Griselda stuff. I just can't get into it. But
it's a hard listen.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys know this guy called Coda the Friend? I've been listening to him a lot.
No.
He's a young guy. I don't know exactly where he's from. I want to say he's from New York, but he has kind of like a soulful meets old school meets new school all mixed together. And he actually did a whole album with Static Selector. But he'll have joints that are like that sound more new. Anyway, I don't know why I'm promoting other artists on your podcast, but
no, it's good. It's always good to put folks on. The last time you came on, you put niggas on to something uber obscure. I think it was Glizzy the Squirrel God.
Yeah, sure.
Glizzy Eater. Glizzy
Eater. Whoa.
What's wrong with you, man?
The Beaver God.
Oh wow.
Yo. So all right, because I don't want to. I want to make sure. Is Fun Times in Baltimore? First of all,
back around. I was getting back to it. That's why I asked him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Okay. No, but I guess where did you get the title? Why that title? And the drops you guys had in the guy singing about North Avenue, which was amazing.
North Avenue.
I want to find out where that's from too, because I actually don't know. But
was it North Avenue or Greenmount? I'm sorry,
Greenmount.
But it was hilarious.
Yeah. And I was throwing a bunch of really terrible titles at John, and he was just shooting them all down. And then I don't know, I just was like, well, you got that skit in there. Why don't we use that as a title? And he was like, boom, that's what it is. But you can enlighten them on the rest of it.
Yeah, you know, when you go down the rabbit hole, YouTube is a phenomenal thing. And I'm a stickler for any vintage stuff from like the 80s and 90s. So sometimes if I'm looking for samples, I'll find myself looking at commercials from the 80s and just reminiscing on my childhood. And I just happened to be looking for a couple of like drops from some vintage Baltimore documentaries. And I just happened upon this dude who was driving a bus, and he was just going down Greenmount Avenue talking about how crappy it is.
That's Captain Chesapeake.
Like the quote
Yeah,
where
you stupid. They had a Captain Chesapeake doc that came on
that was
today
Captain
too.
Chesapeake. Oh.
You stupid.
My bad, John.
Crew members.
My bad,
John. The quote where he's talking about the dude who might have stolen something. He actually like pans the camera towards this dude who's running out of a liquor store in broad daylight.
It's Baltimore, man.
He pans the phone over. There's like an abandoned payphone over here. There's like a crack deal going on in the corner and stuff. But then, like, you know, when you're searching on YouTube and you have all the suggested stuff over on the right hand side, they actually have a video where they're trying to. It's a game. And they put up different slides of different parts of the hood, and they try to make you guess whether it's Baltimore or Detroit. And so at the end of that skit, he says, "We're almost Detroit."
Almost Detroit.
Yeah. And I was like, "That's it. Boom. That's the cutoff."
I cried when I heard it. It was very funny.
So is the guy, John? Let me ask you, because this is funny. The first time I got to ask him this, is the guy in the clip a white dude?
I think he is. He never shows his face, but I think he is.
Kind of. He sounds like a white guy, and I was wondering, like, is this racist? It's like it kind of feels like it's coming from me.
No,
it's not wrong though. It's not wrong.
The answer to the question is yes. However,
Earl's been trying to cancel me for 10 years.
No, not you.
Just white people. Just like,
the dude on that joint was like, it's probably a crack deal. He probably still
right.
That guy, yeah, he probably
right. That's what I'm saying, and it feels like the skit is coming from us, or maybe in particular me. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I used to work at Hopkins, and I used to drive that route, so it felt real as shit. Like,
it's amazing.
And I was like, "Oh, damn, am I racist?" And
oh man,
no, that skit's amazing. I can't wait to get to that video when we're done. I kind of thought Fun Times in Baltimore was gonna have some basis in the that episode of Redacted, the Cosby Show, right? When the big times in Baltimore. The Claire Huxtable and Vanessa and her friends went down to see the rock band. I don't know why they was watching. Yeah, the Wretched. They were going down to see the Wretched in Baltimore.
Really? Show.
Oh yeah. I mean, we were raised by television. And the same people. So, it is what it is. But I don't. Is there any basis in that in the title?
Well, for me, like when we were talking about it, and he was shooting down all the really terrible ideas I had. Once I landed on that, like hearing the skit and being like, well, maybe this is a title. It made sense to me because, I have that kind of like. I feel like if you live in Baltimore and you love Baltimore, you also recognize how fucked up it is, and you're constantly going like,
"There's the fun of it."
Yeah, it's kind of great. You like talk about the rats and like the crackheads on the lean and like all that shit, right? And like, so it kind of made sense. The Fun Times is like it's like an ironic way of saying, oh, fun times in Baltimore, because like I feel like most people they're like, no one goes like, hey, I'm going on vacation to Baltimore to get stuck up, like that's what's going to happen probably.
Or they just visit the Inner Harbor. That's it.
Right.
Facts.
So it made sense to me because it just felt right.
So we talked about intent with the project numbers wise, and that's not really the goal here. What is the goal with the project?
I think
it's a prerequisite, man. Yeah. I think, he and I talked about this before the album came out, just kind of like congratulating each other on putting together what we believe is a very, very fine project. And I just told him, man, not to sound cliche, but this is the beginning. I feel like this could be like a Freddie Gibbs Mad Lib type of project, It's an EP, so it's a really, really good warm up to what we can really, really pull out of our ass. So I'm looking forward to like a full length LP in the future. And hopefully when traveling starts back up, putting together a live show somehow, either, whether it's with a live band or, so the whole purpose of this EP was to get everybody ready. I love the fact that most people call an EP about 35 minutes, but it's not even 20 minutes. It's like 17 minutes. And it just leaves you with enough to say, damn, like, like where's the rest of it? Or maybe I want more. Or there's some people who've even come to me and said, that's the perfect amount of time for this type of project. That will prepare me for whatever you guys have coming up next. So like I said earlier, it's a prerequisite for what we got coming up next.
It's a shot across the bow.
Yeah.
Speaking of shots.
I still got a little bit in here, man. Shit.
No, I gotta go back to my spot now. Join y'all.
No, you gotta pull up.
Come on, man.
No, you gotta pull up.
You know what? Right. I was talking the other day about how like early COVID is an era now.
Yeah.
Like, you say early COVID, people know what that means, and that's wild.
Yeah, Tiger King and not going to work and no haircuts. That is what early COVID is to me.
And this motherfucker like tagging me in like drink posts, like challenges. Yeah. Oh, we're doing a drink. I'm like, it's so early in the day.
There's no clocks in early COVID.
No, it's early for you.
Right. It was early COVID, man. It was a wild time.
Well, your tag. There you go. Tag. You're rich.
Push-ups. Why are we doing all those push-ups in early COVID? That was crazy.
Because it felt like jail.
That's true. I was doing like just walking around the yard in a circle. Weird.
Yeah, yo, that's the ill part about right now because early COVID was in the winter, beginning of spring. So the weather broke while we was locked in, and niggas didn't get a summer. And so right now, when first of all, the murders are the numbers of murders.
You gotta chill out.
Get warm. Am I lying?
Am
I lying?
It's unfortunate.
I'm not gonna say yes.
Fun times in Baltimore.
I'm not even talking about Baltimore. You go down to the anyway. Listen.
Yeah.
The area just you can see it, man. I went record shopping now, Fells, at Soundgarden last week, and it looked regular out there.
Look regular.
It looked. I mean, besides the masks and everybody eating outside, it was a lot of people out. And from what I understand, this weekend was more of the same because, especially today, because the weather, you know what I mean, had a couple of questionable days, and now it's like 80.
Mm-hmm. John's got a tank top on. It's wild.
Yeah, he got low pants on. He got hot pants on.
What happened?
See, look, you don't know him like that. Don't go at my man.
No. Once you come on here, I know you like that.
The gloves off.
I know you like that. That's
right. I see.
So it could just be me. It could just be where I'm at in my life when I listened to the project. Granted, it was brief because I didn't have any time, but it sounds like a grown ass E-Major. It sounds like grown. It's a different sound, my nigga. This is why I asked. Where were you?
I think as far as like what I'm doing, as far as rapping, I think my cadences are better than ever. I think
you're older.
I think my rhyme schemes are better. Like I don't know. I just posted this or shared this video of Mos Def speaking about just evolving as an MC, and I think that like we get short-changed as older artists because we actually are better.
Facts. But the thing is, we don't know older in hip hop.
But we do now. I mean, goddamn. Is there anybody rapping better than Black Thought right now? Is there anybody rapping better than Black Thought? Like,
Royce.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Royce. I'll definitely say Royce.
Old,
but
also old.
Yes, also old. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you can debate that, but the fact is, I think some of the better lyrically, cadence wise, all that. Like, and I think I've definitely stepped all that up. Also, to your point, getting more introspective. Like I'm talking in the record, you hear me mention my family a little bit, like some kind of the anxieties and like really looking at like how I feel about things more than John's production brought that out for sure, but also just being older.
I was gonna get that. So where, because you're new to me, John, what got you here? Was this isn't, you know what I'm saying? Have you been vibing off of E or
I mean, yeah, to a point we vibe off of each other, I think. In this project, I didn't want, as a producer, I didn't want to tell him yay or nay as far as what he's saying and the content. I wanted it to be strictly, E-Major. I might have had like a couple of things in mind, like maybe, like for me, I grew up on the feel of Bernard Purdy, that layback feel. If you listen back to some of the native tongues, a lot of the native tongues MCing is on top of the beat.
Facts.
and that's how E rhymes. But for me, like I always like to hear something a little bit more relaxed, and that was really the only thing that he and I had to discuss. You know, and we kind of met in the middle there, where he was satisfied with it being just slightly behind, and I was okay with it being just slightly on top.
Okay.
So that it satisfied both of us. So
I felt like I was in the pocket on that one. I know which one you're talking about. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm in the pocket. What are you doing? Why you? He was like,
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
was it Move?
Yes, it was,
Yeah.
and it was because that song "Move to the" is definitely like an homage to Q-Tip in particular.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you can hear that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm like going for it, right? And so John definitely felt like it needed that kind of like off-kilterness, and so he like just slightly adjusted my vote, and I was like, "Fuck happened here?"
Yeah.
Jones, man, nigga, you don't know shit. Relax. I got this.
But you know what?
Watch
Yeah,
out,
exactly.
watch
He was.
Watch out the
The,
way.
re- the reason I did that was because I was initially I was selfishly thinking, like, because when I first heard the rhyme, the first thing I thought of was like, this motherfucker sound like Q-Tip. And when I heard that, I'm like, this could be a Q-Tip J Dilla collab.
It's lyrics to go though.
Is it?
But to me, it was.
Is it
was,
not, motherfucker?
But to me, it was Breathe and Stop.
Yeah.
Or Vibrant Thing.
Yeah.
Because of the stop. Because when I made that beat in 2013.
Oh wow.
And I made that beat after I had heard it was a Dilla remix. I can't remember which one it was. It was like a Michelle and Degicello remix that I revisited. And so when he gave me his lyrics, the first thing I thought of was this could be like a Vibrant Thing, Breathe and Stop type of single. Like I was like, this could be the single of the EP. So I'm like, wow, this sounds really on top of the beat. I don't know if it's a digital thing or if he meant to do that. So I just slid it back like a couple of baby hairs, and then it was like somebody had like just adjusted the thermostat.
He got
the father comes running down and says like, who adjusted the thermostat? Like that's exactly how he came at me. He was like, yo, did you just move my? I'm like, yeah, man, because I kind of heard. He was like, yeah, but I was kind of feeling it like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me see. What about if I do it? And we both came to an agreement.
Yeah.
You know, so as far as to answer your question, it was mostly just letting E be himself and E letting me be myself, and just letting the project become what it is.
Now,
you know what I mean?
That song too, I feel like I went back. I wasn't the grown E too much on that one.
Oh yeah, you were doing your 90s reminiscent days for sure.
Yeah.
Less facial hair, a lot more chew sticky.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back to it.
White boy with a kufi, weird. Very weird.
Some Toronto video girls from Toronto.
That's amazing. So before we wrap this portion of it up, let folks know where they can grab the project. Do you want them to stream it? Do you want them to come by direct? How do you want them to get Fun Times in Baltimore?
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, stream it everywhere you can stream it. Like John said, I mean, he's, you know, coming from where he's coming from with it. I'm also coming from like, I'm not like obsessed with the money on it. I just want people to hear it. I think it's fucking great. And so please stream it and share it, and like get your everybody's cousin got a podcast. That's what I figured, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm on here, because somebody's cousin had a podcast. So yeah, your cousin.
Okay.
So you know, tell your cousin.
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah. So yeah, get them to hit us up. We want to spread the word. We want to talk about it. We want people to hear it, man. So Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, wherever you're at, check it out.
I listened to Untitled.
You're the only one.
Music.
You and Jay-Z listening to Title.
Nobody else has that shit.
Y'all don't get enough rap radar. I'm sorry. That being said, the other thing that we have to talk about this week.
Shots.
You'll need a shot after this.
Oh, man,
it is what it is, man. We lost an MC this week, a couple times.
Prince Philip.
Yeah.
Don't
you dare.
Who?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare, white man.
There was a lot of really weird memes about this, about the Prince Philip DMX connection. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We lost Earl DMX Simmons. I believe was it Friday? Was it confirmed Friday? And I mean, we talked about it last week on the pod. We had just gotten the news that he had some sort of complications and that he had lost or had minimal brain function and was in grave condition, and he did not make it. Rest in peace, Earl DMX Simmons. It's funny, we talked about backpack EMCs and backpack hip hop. And one of the phrases that backpack niggas such as myself often use is real hip hop, right? And DMX was the personification to me of real hip hop. He wasn't the same all the time. The nigga was always ready to spit at the drop of a dime. He was a ball full of emotion and giving, and he didn't have a voice before. A nigga like him wouldn't have a voice before hip hop, and hip hop provided that voice, and he took full advantage of that voice being provided to him throughout his whole career. So rest in peace, DMX. First, do niggas remember when they first heard DMX?
I do, for sure. I was actually out here. I lived out here for like 1 year, like 97, 98. And
DMX, that was
during that year, I got a Clue tape, a Clue CD, and it was weird. Like it was called DMX versus Cameron, but it was just basically
So hold on. That isn't a Clue, but you're talking about DMX versus Cannabis.
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure it was Cameron, or maybe it was a different thing. Yeah, maybe you're right.
It's my favorite mixtape, but keep going.
Anyway, I think maybe at the same time I got this Cameron CD, so that maybe that's why I'm getting it confused. Down in Venice Beach at the time, there was always guys selling CDs, bootleg CDs. So I got my hands on these, and I remember just being like, "What the fuck?" Because the energy, the voice, the thing about him was nobody was putting their heart into it like that. You know, like it was just so raw, like who he was, what he was going through and all that stuff. Like, I don't think anybody at that time was doing that. Shout out, you guys know Danger, right? DJ Danger Miles, you know, he came on the Black Wrestling podcast.
No, he didn't.
He's talking about he's talking about Downtown Tony Brown.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh shit! Shout out to Tony Brown. Don't you dare use his regular name.
It's not his regular name. He was
we don't know.
He raps. He DJ. He used to rap. He DJs. Anyhow, I just want to shout him out because he put this really interesting post up, which was hip hop at the time, and it was like all the shiny suit era shit. And then he said, "Now look at the last image," and this was DMX, same year. Black and white photos, dogs barking, you know, the no shirt with the the jumper on or whatever. And you're like, yo, he was just so raw. Like, and Jay-Z used to say, like, every so often someone DMX's the game. It shit gets real glossy, and then someone just comes in with something raw to like kind of, it's like a reset button. And that's what he did, man. He reset it back to some raw shit. So I mean, I never really was one for the Swizz beats, but I mean, what DMX was doing on them was effective.
Oh, that's Dame Grease.
Yeah, that Dame Grease stuff was. It was a balance, but it was That early X and Dane Grease stuff was crazy. Is this the mixtape?
Could be. You know what? It was so bootleg. It might have just been like a silver CD for $5.
He stole that shit from somebody. I don't know where you got that shit from. What was that? Microsoft Paint.
Damn.
How the fuck did you do? How did they do that? Yo, I remember hearing DMX. I think it was Mike Geronimo.
Oh yes,
I think it was on the
like the last cut.
It was on Vendetta.
Yep.
I think that's where I heard him, and I recall I was in the group with Cuz and a couple other people. Shout out to Roy Rucker, rest in peace. And we got a lot of the promo shit for Get At Me Dog. Just seeing them in the black and white holding the dogs.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this guy in the trash man suit holding the dogs? And it was in black and white. And I'm like, I'm never listening to that shit. I'm never listening to that. And I think it was a clue when Get At Me Dog came on, but it had the locks on it. So the thing that made me listen was the locks. But yeah, you have this guy who's barking. And I'm like, no, the fuck is wrong with him? Right. And then 2 weeks later, you hear Get At Me Dog featuring Sheik Luch, and it's just Sheik Luch on the hook. And you're like, yo, he is going berserk on this shit. But it was never like, for me, it was never like, let me listen to that. And then after that, you see I think it was it Rough Riders Anthem came out right after that. It's like you can't deny it. It's stop.
What was the track?
Open up shop.
What was the track on the Jay-Z album where they sampled the Shaft theme song? Wasn't he on there?
Dog, yes. No, hold on.
Reservoir Dogs?
He wasn't on
Yeah. Wasn't he on that with like and Mike Geronimo?
That was the locks.
That was just the locks. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Didn't he have a song with Jay like early on?
That was
Murdergram.
On Mike
when
Geronimo.
They did the Murdergram joint, but they were gonna do what was it? Murder Incorporated. Him, Jay, and X. And every time they put a joint together, I think Murdergram was the record. It worked.
It was like passion. You could hear it, like you could feel like this motherfucker. He meant what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? And you like, I can't listen to a DMX album because I'm tired. I'm tired after I listen. I'm sweating. You know what I mean? I lost 2 pounds. It's too much for the modern man to listen to.
Modern.
It means old current man.
40 hours a week, nigga. That's all you're getting from me.
Yo, X had easily the best 1 year run in hip hop, right?
The 2 albums.
Two number 1 albums in a year, which is insane. And the mixtape run before that, he was killing every feature he was on.
You ain't get Jon.
Yeah.
You have to excuse my Wi-Fi. The kids are on their tablets, so they're.
Oh shit! I already know what that is.
I actually do not remember the first time I heard X, but I want to say, I remember that I saw him on Rap City, and he was doing a guest spot in the basement, and he was different than a lot of other rappers that had that aggressive tone. The only other rapper that I could compare him to was Busta Rhymes, but Busta Rhymes was a lot more happy-go-lucky, and DMX was just like, he came out the gate wanting to fight, like he was looking for a fight. And I wasn't a huge fan of Swizz Beatz, but I had a lot of respect for him, and so I was trying to get on the Rough Riders boat, just trying to see where it was going to go. But I was one of those, I was I was raised a jazz lover, so I used to be one of those guys that was like, oh, this rap music, they don't know, they don't know what the hell they're doing. Like I had a lot of respect for Primo and Pete Rock, but you know, I was all into more things that had a lot more musicality in it. I loved hip hop, but Swizz just wasn't one of my favorites, but I wanted to catch on to see why he was such a big deal. And then a friend of mine told me that he actually got to be in the studio with Swizz, and he heard a joint. I think it was the first single off the second album, before it even came out, and he said Swizz played me this joint that DMX is about to come out with, and it's crazy. And that's when I just started to have a little bit more of an understanding for him, and realizing that hip hop is so big, we got to make room for people to be different, or for people to do whatever they want to do, so that they're not just copying other MCs. And so X was one of those guys that was just a cut above the rest. Plus, there's that video of X doing that festival in Australia. I don't know a whole lot of rappers that can do what X did at that festival.
Ever.
Maybe Jay-Z, maybe.
Nah.
But I mean, X had them on their feet, like wilding out the entire set. And that's what really
it looked like Braveheart and William Wallace.
Yo, John
sure.
just said DMX rap like niggas held his check and shit.
yeah. No, that's the perfect description.
Like niggas held his check on rent week.
Somebody's gonna die.
Like the light's about to cut out.
Yeah,
you're gonna die today.
But it was really the antithesis of like all the shiny suit shit. Like,
thanks.
You know, it was like, oh, I got this, I got that, and he was like, I don't got that. I'm fucking struck. You know,
yeah.
I don't have any of it.
Yeah, I remember an interview with Irv Gotti goes and talks about going to find DMX and where he had to go in Yonkers to find this nigga. He was like, you imagine the worst hood you could ever imagine going into, and then piss on that picture and rip the doors off. And that's where DMX lived at. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the more gritty descriptions of anything I've ever heard. And I'm like, man, this is insane. But it's one of them things where you can't come from privilege and be that. Like his existence from go was struggle. Yeah. And I think that's what it was meant to be.
Unfortunately, those are the artists that really resonate with us, and we never really help them get out of it. I don't know how as a fan you help someone get out of that kind of shit anyway, but like a lot of artists that resonate with us are fucked up. And because, you know, they're feeling an extreme version of what we're all going through, and they're able to express that in a really kind of clear way. And we're like, yeah, that's what I'm going through. But we don't realize to the extent that they're going through it. Yeah. And then, you know, 5 years after their single hit, we're not thinking about them, but they're still going through that shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, motherfucker pops up on Drink Champs and like, everyone's like, oh, great story, bro. You know, but no one's like, hey, can I help out? Like, what's going on, man?
So it's ill you bring up Drink Champs, right?
You taking the shot?
Why not?
Shit, Jesus.
But look, we
John gonna throw up.
It's a running gag.
Again, Mark.
He from Maryland, it's fine.
No, you got go get it. You gotta go get it, John.
This man's wilding. He's a drink bully.
You are, total.
And then he was gone. It was magic.
Voila.
No, we should have snapped our fingers.
Outstanding. Voila. It was the first time X was on Drink Champs, right? I think he did Drink Champs 3 times.
I think he did it twice. The first time it wasn't really him.
Outstanding. He real. That's how you drink.
Fact.
But the first time that he did Drink Champs, it was I didn't like how X looked then, right? I was seeing him in the state he was then, which from what I understand is he was kicking at the time. He was trying to get right then, and he was without, and he didn't look right to niggas. It had been a while since people had seen him, and he was kind of erratic. And I mean, X is already kind of, he erratic and kind of jumpy, but he just didn't look good, yo. And that episode of Drink Champs never sat with me because I was like, man, Nori, that's supposed to be your man's. You, him, and Cannabis did that 40-minute freestyle on the radio. You know what I mean? This is a nigga you came in with, and it felt like they were exploiting the nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And fast forward,
let's bring him on here for the show.
Right.
Correct.
Because we never know what we're gonna get with X, and that's a fact. Now he did an episode during the quarantine, which was like a Zoom version. Which most people didn't check for. And then he was just on there recently. Yeah, now, this is after the verses, him and Snoop Dogg, and niggas, the consensus was, man, X looked good on the verses. Yeah. He's like, you know what I mean? He got round in the face, got a little gut. He looked like what a 50-year-old rapper should look like. Right. You know what I mean? He and there after the show, they playing Michael Jackson joints. He dancing with a plate in his hand. And he looked like my uncles at 50 at the cookout. That's how they looked. You know what I'm saying? That is how black men that I know at 50 look like. So people were like, oh, man, X must be getting himself together. And all the way up until that point, everything felt good. We see him posting pictures with or videos with Benny from Griselda, just different folks hearing and talking about this album that he's coming up with. And then we get the news last week. So I guess the question is, was his now is the first of all is the official word that it was the drugs that contributed to the heart attack, which eventually took him away from it? Is that official, first of all? And if it is, him seeming balanced, is that because he was back doing what he's known to be doing the majority of his career?
Well, I wouldn't want to speculate on a lot of that. But I will say, in my experience, unfortunately, I know a lot of people that have gone, we are no longer with us from that affliction. And it's really weird. Every single time people go, I just saw him, he looked great.
I was just with him. Yeah.
You look great.
Like right before, it always seems like there's a bounce back. Now, again, I'm not going to speculate why.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to pretend to be some kind of expert in the game, but that's what I always hear. Oh, they look so good. I don't understand how this happened. And maybe it's just us as friends and family that it's like an excuse for us to say like, oh, I didn't see it. And so to take that off of ourselves to say like, it's not my fault. When I saw him, he looked good.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do know this. I've known a lot of people who have addictions to a lot of different substances and things. And it's like, it's a sickness. And we got to look out for them and we got to reach out to them. Yeah.
Agreed for sure.
Yeah. We kind of forwent. Is it forwent? We foregoed. We foregone.
Foregone is
past tense. Yeah, we foregoed it, right? We foregoed.
On this podcast, we forgoed it.
Yeah, we forgoed.
You know what? That's racist.
I'll give that one to you. I'll give it to you.
That was quality. That's quality.
You can have it. Me and Earl, on the first time I was on this podcast, I think we established everyone is racist.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
And that's our starting point. That's our starting point.
Yeah, that is our level of expectation.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No. No. Pull up.
That was on New Year's. You were on the way to a show. Yeah, no, I absolutely remember that.
That's right. That's right. Wow. You have a good memory.
Sometimes.
Mm.
That being said, we didn't really get into our regular segments. And we didn't do a shooting of 5. But what I will ask is just one joint from everybody. Like, what's your favorite DMX record?
That's tough.
Mm.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, I was in it. I was in during those first 2 albums and stuff, but I wasn't like the hugest fan, so I don't want to front like, but when I don't fucking know the names of the songs. Shut Up Down, Open Up Shop. When that comes on, it's
Rough Riders anthem.
Rough
it's
Riders
a fucking
right.
problem. Yeah. So
I mean, yeah, same. I wasn't a DMX fan per se. I did listen to some joints, but I do recall Flesh of My Flesh being like the realest joint that he had, because I remember in an interview he talked about the album cover was it was like a realization of where he's coming from, and so when you look at that album cover, you know that what he's about to say on that album is literally what his life has been like, and it's just very synonymous. So that's the album that I can remember, at least some of the joints that I listened to being on. So I would go with that.
Cuz?
Yo, I'm gonna say Slipping. I think that he said some of the realest shit on. And it's eerie to listen to now. It's more weird to watch the video. But Slipping, and that's always been my shit, y'all, because just the emotion that he has when he's delivering the shit that he's saying is just it's a whole nother thing. But Slipping is my shit.
I'm gonna go Niggas That Started Something because I love the record.
Count. That don't count.
I mean it's on his album. You know what I mean? To get to that song, you gotta go to his album. Surgery with the chainsaw. Like it was
Chainsaw.
Nigga. It's a whole lot of it's a whole lot of good. There's a whole lot of look, nigga coming in the episode, nigga.
Yeah, you're supposed to be, we ain't acknowledging it. Nope.
Oh man, the stuff with Belly, stuff off soundtracks, his features. Yeah, yo, it's so many X records. And I'm sure next week we'll get into more of a full like DMX celebration. You know what I'm saying?
You got motherfuckers sad before they leave.
Yeah, I do want to say this as an artist. I think it is underappreciated to have the whole package, right? Like we want to pretend like it.
We want to pretend like your Wi-Fi is still.
Oh, you're in the Matrix.
Oh no.
That is
pretend like,
yo. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
No.
he's stuck in the Matrix.
Yes, he is.
That's all the Moscow moves.
The who?
The Moscow moves.
Oh, Moose. A muse, shorty, a muse.
Moscow moves.
I think that being said, it's gonna do it for us this week. Really?
His power went out. That's that West Coast shit. Move back home.
Outstanding.
Exactly.
Wow.
There's an earthquake.
As per usual, only earthquakes we know is when the pack touched down.
Outstanding. That being
It's the
said,
Big
man,
Johnson he got. The one shot Johnson. That's how big it was.
it's that one.
It was this big.
Oh man! Shout out to E-Major, get one shot vaxxed. That being said, brother John, where can the folks get at you on social media, and also plug your project as well?
Yeah, it's real simple. It's my name, JonLaine. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook. I'm rarely on Facebook these days, but Instagram I'm on there a lot. Twitter I'm on there quite frequently talking about sports. But yeah, I got 2 projects out, of course, Fun Times in Baltimore, and I did a joint with a DC legend by the name of Priest of Nomad. He just released a single called Confused. So that's out, and I got 2 big projects that are coming out later this year. So just follow me to get all the updates.
That's what's up. I am LFam79 on your social media choice, aka the Edison Podcast, the aka Captain Bro Albano, Brew Diamond Phillips, Sticky the Dragon, Steamboat, Pod Champ, Pod God's favorite podcast, the Potty Piper. I'm here to podcast Chew Bubble Gum, and I'm all out of Dentine Nice. And my tag team partner.
Before I get in myself, hold on. Oh shit, he's back.
Hey,
Doesn't matter. Before I get into myself, and I love getting to myself. Where's Buffy.com on everything? Where's Buffy.com? Where's Buffy.com? Where's Buffy.com? I am at Math Damon. Math Damon 1854. Shout out to the Warriors. Hat size equator. It's a Scully bitch. And let's see what my impromptu tag team partner has to say. You motherfucker.
Is that me?
you. Oh, is he frozen again?
Yes.
God dang it. Each other on all social media, each of the major. You know what I mean? And
he's in the Matrix.
Here I go again.
There we go. All right, plug yourself.
The show's over.
No, I'm good. Each of the major everywhere. You did it for me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that it? Oh, he's stuck again. What happened? What you got, dial up?
It's that LA Wi-Fi, man. I thought it was me.
No. It's still LA Wi-Fi.
Said the pair of folks that came to work on his Wi-Fi this week. One was a Crip, one was a Blood, and they started beating.
Air war.
Hey man, thanks for everybody for tuning in. And I ain't really got nothing else, man. Rest in peace, DMX. AB. Take
gang. If I don't fuck with you, they don't fuck with you.
Well, I think it's their choice, isn't it?
Man, gang. You know what that means? Gang. Take the L out of lover. It's over, brother.